All right, everybody out there in War Room Land, we are on the line with the great Coach Lincoln Tiger Phillips, former coach of the Howard University Bisons soccer team. Redemption story is what this episode is about, and we're just plugging along with folks that have a big, huge impact on the story and on the film itself. Coach, welcome to the War Room. How are you?
David, it's a pleasure to be in the War Room, and I thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
we really
you,
appreciate
Coach.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get right into it because, we got a lot to talk about. Everybody's excited about the premiere, the ESPN premiere of the film Redemption Song, which airs Friday, June 10th, during the 6 p.m. Sports Center. So, Coach, first things first, where are you from originally?
David, I'm from Port of Spain, Trinidad, the West Indies, and I came to this country in 1968.
Okay.
That's a long time ago.
So, how'd you end up, at the helm of the Howard University soccer team?
Well, as I said, I was representing my country, Trinidad and Tobago, in the Pan American Games in 1967, and little old Trinidad just upset everybody and beat Argentina and Colombia, and eventually won a bronze medal. And at that time, the NASL, defunct NASL, was now starting up, and they were recruiting, in addition to English players, people from the African Caribbean. And I got highly recruited and came to the Baltimore Bays in 1968. And after 1 year, I was transferred to a semi-pro team named the Washington Darts. I became the head coach there. And after being at the helm for about 2 or 3 years, I was conducting a clinic for the Special Olympics, and the old coach at the time at Howard University, the legendary Ted Chambers, approached me and asked me to come and do a clinic at Howard, and that's where it all began.
Okay, and by the way, I'm not sure if I told you. I know you probably already know because we spoke a little off air, but B. Austin and myself are both Howard University alum. So,
fantastic.
That's why this whole thing is so exciting for us. Because, Howard doesn't get the national acclaim and spotlight, especially when it comes to sports. So, it's just great to see something like this on a national level. And maybe even take it to a global level because we do have a lot of alum all over the world who are also excited about this short film. I know you had a book, Rising Above and Beyond the Crossbar, the life story of Lincoln Tiger Phillips. Now that the Redemption Song story is about to be told for the entire nation, how does it feel to finally get the story out there? Because I think a lot of people, they just haven't been privy to this story and this information. Even folks who attended Howard University, I just don't think a lot of people knew this story. So how does it feel to finally have this story told on a broad level?
Well, I think it's about time. It's well over 40 years, and our pressers have done a good job in trying to keep our history away from us, and that's a very, very sad thing, because we have, as a people, we have done so many great things. But the other part of it that is even more sad is that we ourselves do not take a strong interest in our history. And that is where folks like you come into play by making sure that the history is outside there, it's relevant, and our young people are aware of the great things that have gone on in the past. So saying that, I am extremely happy that it's outside there now, and that you folks at the War Room putting some wind under their wings, and hopefully it can reach as many people as possible and inspire our people to greater heights.
Amen.
Okay. And what a lot of people don't know, Howard University under your watch was the first HBCU to win a Division I national title in soccer. I don't want to give away too much of the story for people out there who haven't heard it, but I think the trailer speaks to this, and a lot of people have seen the trailer. You guys were actually stripped of that national title. Can you speak to why that happened?
Well, there are a lot of theories outside there, but the old story. Anytime, and this is history. Anytime a person of color achieves any degree of success, it has to be tainted, and that is also is so unfortunate, but it is the truth. And I came to Howard University after coaching on the professional and playing on the professional level. I became the assistant coach in 1970 under Coach Chambers, and out of the blue, we just got into the Final Four and lost by a fluke. And the following year, coached, and it's interesting because, after that 70 loss, there were so many people congratulating me on doing such a wonderful job, and how I'm such a good sportsman and all of that stuff. And the next year when I became the head coach of the team and we won the NCAA championship, I didn't get any of those accolades from certain folks. I got a lot of hate letters and so on. So it wasn't. It really, I believe, it really hurt people that we just came, especially in the area, University of Maryland, the Naval Academy, and all these schools around who didn't want to play us.
Coach
they were annoyed.
You didn't stay in your place, and you monkeys didn't go home.
Exactly.
So that was upsetting. And before this is B, and before I get into my question, I just wanted to say humbly and from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for standing up, not only at that NCAA awards banquet, but as you have through the years to champion, the struggle, the struggle as it was represented within the context of sports and of your team and of our team, because that's a microcosm of the larger situation and scenario in American society. And so for you to take that stand, and that's one of the things that we share with the generations coming up behind us, when you talk about looking at men such as yourself and men such as the great Muhammad Ali and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and others like them, they took a stand, and you guys took a stand in a place where you were risking a lot, if not risking it all, to make the statements that you made. And I think that's the difference a lot of times between what we have today and what you guys did then. And so I just want to really thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of the hearts of my brothers here at War Room Sports, as not just HU alum, but black men and black women who support you. And so my question to you was, in the face of such vitriol from the teams that you guys played, and also having diverse backgrounds, maybe where you're aware of racism, but it isn't quite the same as what we see here in America, how were you able to prepare your players to deal with the word nigger coming from your opponents and monkeys go home and that other vitriol that was spewing towards you and your players? How did you prepare them mentally?
Well, I think it was the way I was raised in Trinidad. I lived in an area where we had a lot of Indians and Chinese and white folks and so on. So as far as the social side of my upbringing, I was never in awe of anybody. Everybody, was a man or woman, and then, they maybe they're black or white, that came after. Then I was in the Army. I was a sergeant, a physical education instructor. I think I was able to get my thrust and from there. But I've always had a life where I had to really struggle. I never, and nothing came easy to me, you know. And Travis Smiley really he made a statement that really represents my life and that I was able to bring to Howard. Travis Smiley said, "A setback is a setup for a comeback." Mm-hmm. And that epitomizes the Howard University and the Howard University student. A Howard University educated student is the type of person that whenever there's a setback, you know, he just comes back stronger. And we were able to get that across to the players, you know. Let them know whenever it's cold, we like it cold. When it's hot, we like it hot. When the field is bumpy, we like it bumpy. So whatever happens in whatever game we play, you know, we just adjust our sails and move on from there. And I can't say that I am the one that did it. I was part of it, but the Howard University environment and the people like my mentor, Coach Chambers, and people like Don Basil Matthews, who was another mentor of ours, were there to really get that through and better and clearer to the players. So I was very fortunate that we were able to see things like that blatant racism, like a player is going offside and the referee is telling him, "Son, watch it. Son, watch it. You're going offside." You know,
instead of
that used to blow the minds of some of my players. But we just say, look, you know, if you're going to get mad, you know, score 2 goals.
Amen.
and that should take care of everything.
Right. The Tiger. Listen, folks, you're talking to the Tiger, Coach Lincoln Phillips. There it is. You see it. And one of the things that I love that you talk about is the ability for Howard University students to really embody the struggle and being able to overcome challenges and obstacles that maybe others at other institutions and in other parts of society don't have to go through. I think that's a beautiful point. And you actually coached more than one team. So you had the 1971 team, then you had the 1974 team. And between those times, in those other seasons, you had to deal with a ton of adversity, as you just kind of spoke about. But we want to dig a little deeper into that. How were you able to manage the discord and some of the issues that come with the team and amongst the players as they're dealing and coping with what happened between 1971 and 1974? How did you deal with that? That's a challenge that most coaches don't deal with.
Well, you know, you just don't take all the credit for in dealing with situations like that. I had good leadership. The captain of the team was Ian Bain, and Ian Bain was a very, very strong person, a strong personality. He was excellent off the field, on the field, and a lot of things I was able to get across to him. He was able to get across to the players. So we had good leadership, and so we were able to hold a pretty good team at that time, a very good team at that time. We were able to hold them together and to show them that, hey, look, it's only a matter of time, and the truth crusher shall rise again. We'll rise, and so we were able to keep the guys together, and I have to say I was very fortunate that I had support from all around the university, from my senior players, and that helped us to get over the hump.
Okay. I had one question about the title being stripped in the first championship season. Was it true that the St. Louis coach, Harry Keogh, did he refuse to accept the vacated trophy?
Yes, this is quite true. And I just want folks to understand that that St. Louis and the coach, we have nothing else but tons of respect. That's it. He says, Coach, he told me I couldn't take that award. He said, we're going to come back and beat you on the field. We don't want that award. I have too much respect for you. And for years later, the players, anytime the players met our players, it was a hugs and tons of respect. Even their children respected us. And so I say hats off to St. Louis. It was every time we played, it was always a great game. Sometimes we would be talking to one another at the sideline, and people could understand how in such a game that we could be talking. But we have respect for each other, and we knew that any team could win that day.
The beauty of competition, man. The beauty, man. Clap it up for the St. Louis folks. We respect that.
Yeah, and so the 74 season, you guys met them again in the final game.
Yes.
That season, now this was the redemption season and redemption song, because you guys were undefeated in 1974, 19-0, and the goal, the differential in goals, you guys scored 63 goals. Your opponent scored 6 goals all season. How did you guys focus throughout a season where you could go undefeated and score 63 goals, holding your opponents to 6 goals? Like that's unheard of, Coach.
Well, first of all, we had a very good team. We had Trinidadians and Jamaicans, excellent players, and we went to Nigeria, and we were able to get some of the best players on the Nigerian national team. And we knew that we had a championship team. And I told the players before, the only team that can beat Howard University is Howard University themselves. And every single day, the key to it was everybody on that team gave up something of their own for that championship. I don't know what we would have done if we had not won that championship. It was do or die. It was everything. It represented everything in our life in that one game.
Wow, and that's what people don't understand about sports. It can have that effect. Okay, so we spoke with Mark Wright, the producer, earlier. He raved about the director. I just want to know, Coach, are you satisfied with the way this story was told? After all these years, are you satisfied with the way the story was told in Redemption Song?
Yeah. In 15 minutes, more than satisfied. That story cannot be told in 15 minutes, and for them to do, I've been getting calls, for the whole day, with great accolades and excellence, and this story was told, in 15 minutes, and this guy, their budget wasn't a great one, and in a short space of time, they put things together, and it was truly amazing, and for me it was exciting because I went through all of that with them to see how they put it together in the rooms and take the pictures and do all the shoots and the effects and so on. They were truly amazing. One of them, Mark Wright, is a junkyard dog, and the other one, Kelly, is just a cool man. And they hit it off together, and between us and Ian Bain told his story from the player's perspective, because he played on the 71 team as a freshman, and he played on the 74 team as a captain. And he told the story from a player's perspective, and which a lot of things that I never knew, the fights and so on that he had to put down, and then I told it from a coach's perspective, but there are lots of other stories from other players, hoping that we get an opportunity to tell the entire story in a longer feature. There are loads of stories from other players that people would be very, very happy with.
Right. Well, so we definitely have to give another shout out to director Ken and Holly for telling this story in 15 minutes. If not anything else, I think what it will do for the people who hadn't known this story before, it will make them do some more research. because 15 minutes is going to leave people wanting more, but they're going to go out and do more research and learn as much as they can about this particular story. I think he did a great job.
Exactly.
Coach, we would be remiss. You're a Trinidadian international. The Copa America is going on right now, and I know that you're probably enthralled and in that. Who's your pick to win it all in the Copa?
Well, Mexico is playing very, very well. They're on top of their game, and they are, I'd say, a big tournament team. Argentina is hopping and doing very, very well. I like Argentina. I've always liked Argentina's style of football. I like them very much, and my dark horse is Mexico.
All right. Well, everybody out there, make sure you tune in to see Redemption Song. It airs Friday, June 10th at 6 p.m. Well, it's going to be in the 6 p.m. Sports Center on ESPN, so it could happen anywhere in between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. So if you're not home, set your DVRs. This is a story that you do not want to miss. Like we said, if not for anything else, it will make you do more research about a story that you may not have heard before. Coach, we really appreciate you joining us in the War Room to give us, a little bit of the story. We weren't trying to ruin it for the people who hadn't seen it yet, but it was great talking to you. We appreciate your time.
Well, it was great talking to you guys, being and Devin, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out getting this great story out there, and I wish you the best of luck, with the story and also with whatever you do. God bless you guys, and keep on trucking. And one word of advice to all the guys outside there: whatever you do, never get defeated.
Amen. The Tiger. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
All right.
My pleasure. Okay. Thank you,
Coach.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that's Coach Lincoln Tiger Phillips, everybody. Again, make sure you check out Redemption Song. That will be airing on the 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time Sports Center, Friday, June 10th. You got to watch it, man. I know we're excited because we're HU alum, but it's a great story.
But it's a great, it's a great story even beyond that, man. If you can't find the beauty in that story, man, you don't love sports. You don't love sports.
No doubt.